Again, we're being asked to solve two equations. We look at our first one. 6 has to equal to negative 3y plus 2 plus 2y minus 3. So there's a lot of terms in this equation. The first thing some students are going to do is rewrite this problem and write all of this stuff on the left side and this number on the right side, just because it looks odd to them that the variables are on the right. It really doesn't matter where the variables are, so I'm going to leave it like this. First thing I'm going to notice is that there's a lot of terms on this side. That means we can combine some. So I'm going to start by leaving the 6 where it is, but I'm going to combine some like terms over here. These like terms are already on the same side of the equation. The equal says over here. So I can tell that these are on the same side. So just treat this like a simple combining like terms. Negative 3y plus 2y would make negative 1y. That takes care of those two. And if I combine, if you're adding 2 and subtracting 3, it's the same thing as subtracting 1. I'm just combining those as is. They're already on the same side. Once you do that, you notice we really have a two-step equation here. 6 equals to negative 1 times y minus 1. Remember, our goal is to figure out what the y is. I want to get the y term by itself. This is my y term. So I want to get that 1 over there to join the 6. So I'm going to put plus 1, because I do need to eliminate it, plus 1. Whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other side. If I add 1 here, I need to add 1 here. And if I added 1 to eliminate it, this is now 7 equals negative 1 times y. So negative 1 times what would be 7? Well, it has to be a negative 7, but the way you actually figure it out is simply divide both sides. If I want to get rid of the negative 1, if it's negative 1 times y, the opposite of multiplication by negative 1 is to divide by negative 1. Again, you're going to notice that the last thing you almost always do is divide. Divide by negative 1, and we're going to get that y equals to 7 divided by negative 1 is negative 7. Negative 1 times negative 7 is 7. So if you wanted to try this out and plug it in, you're welcome to do it. Maybe I'll do it just last time just to show you that here's how you check it. You'll plug in a negative 7 for y, negative 3 times negative 7, plus 2 times negative 7, minus 3. I'll do a little bit quicker this time. That's 21 plus 2 minus 14 minus 3. This is 23 minus 14 would be 9, minus 3 would be 6. So the value of negative 7 makes both sides the same. Let's look at this other one. Solve for x. 4 times x plus 3 equals 2 times x plus 11. Once again, we have multiple terms with the variable. But if you notice, they're not on the same side, so I cannot combine them. So my advice is to first target the variables. First, get these variables on the same side. So to get rid of this 2x from this side, I'm either going to add it or subtract it. I want to get rid of the whole 2x. Because it's positive, I'll subtract 2x from this side, which means I have to subtract 2x on the other side. Notice we didn't bother to do that here in this equation because they were already on the same side. When terms are on the same side, they're like terms, just combine them. When they're not, we can't combine them until we eliminate them from one side and move it across. Now we have 2x plus 3 equals 11. At this point, it's just a matter of, now that we put all our x terms together, let's put our number terms together. Or let's get our x alone. So we subtract 3 on both sides. My advice is to keep that equals where it is the whole time. That's the advantage of drawing a line. 11 minus 3 is 8. 2 times x has to equal 8. Well, that pretty much gives it away that x equals 4. But what you're supposed to do to finish this, to get x by itself, is divide by 2. Anytime you're moving an entire term, like we're moving the x's here, you got to subtract the whole thing. But when we get to the last part and you want to get x alone, you just got to get rid of that number. You got to realize that it's a multiplication, so the opposite is to divide by that number. And this is the last time I'll check, just to show you how to check. If you want to know if the answer is 4, 4 times 4 plus 3 equals 2 times 4 plus 11. 16 plus 3 is 19. 8 plus 11 is 19. So when x is 4, it produces the same thing on both sides. That's how we know it is the right solution.